county judges meeting. In that county judges meeting, I have discovered that there are inspection fees that can be paid by the COG, and you're talking for huge structures like this, and you're talking about $25,000 per permit for, inspection, permits, or fees, or whatever it is. I have actually been part of that group that has signed off on 3 for, New Braunfels area and whatnot. So I'm understanding that anytime we wanna bring a huge structure, we have the right to ask the COG to help pay for the inspection, permits. And I'm willing to be vigilant and be aware of, when the city of Pearsall is coming up with their projects, and to make sure that we're present there, and that we can request for any fees that you all may come up with, that we may be able to help. It's worth a shot to ask the COG to help. There's money available, and I think Mr. Reyes and I are very well in tune with the COG now. They know who we are, and we have our expectations as well, just like everybody else. So just know that I'll be vigilant, watching out for these permits to be paid out for you all as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no more further questions, we'll go ahead and move on. Thank you, staff. Thank you, Councilman Torres.
No problem, I'll just put a little bit of pressure, make sure that we move forward on this project.
I was gonna say, when can they bring it back?
We have a timeline, I think the timeline is, she's gonna have something.
The cost analysis will come back and we'll present the breakdowns of the different phases and the cost.
Okay.
And maybe at that time, we can also introduce, types of funding that we can maybe put something
We
together.
do have a timeline for one grant we're looking at, for July.
August.
August.
And it would be
So-
for something like this?
So part of what we're looking at is funding part of this. So it's, I think the grant is for $750,000, and so we matched it $750,000. Again, that's not gonna take care, it is a smidge.
That's for one
What
field.
we're trying to do, but part of what we need to recognize on that end is we do need to come up with some sort of structure of timing and figuring out how we, wanna fund it. And it's all in priorities, right? What you as a council feel is a priority, what should we do first? I mean, we all have our thoughts, but ultimately, the community responds to you. You guys are the elected officials as far as what you think you may be in timeline.
I have requested, during the last meeting to take this presentation to the school board and let the school board, let them aware of what we're doing, the project we're doing. Ultimately, this project is, be utilized by a student body, which is our very students on it. So I would want the board, to be aware of what we're doing.
You can put it on the agenda.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to, going into public hearing. We are now moving on to item 8A.
Open public hearing. 8B, on request for a land use variance / special conditions permit for Miguel Angel Sanchez Cabrera and Jessica Ramirez, 513 East Rio Grande, to allow a 26-foot 8-inch by 60-foot Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation modular home on property located at 513 East Rio Grande. The property's legal description being Lot 8, Block 37 of the City of Pearsall, parcel ID number 4611. The property is currently zoned R1 Single Family Residential. The City of Pearsall zoning ordinance requires a side setback minimum to be 15 feet, and the applicant is asking for 13-foot variance.
This is open hearing. Is anyone here to discuss this?
We're open hearing what time, James?
It is 8:40, I'm sorry, 6:45. If there's no one here, then we're gonna go ahead and close it at 6:46. Moving on to item number 9, new business.
Discuss, consider, and act on the final plat for Refuel Market FM 1581 and IH 35. The property's legal description being tract 1 being 3.632 acres or 158,213 square feet of land situated in the Torres Irrigation and Manufacturing Company. Services, surveying, abstract number 734, Frio County, Texas, being out of a called 17.452 acre tract, Frio County, Texas, recorded in volume 311, page 398 of the deed of records of Frio County, Texas, and tract 2 being 1951 acre of land or 8,500 square feet of land situated in the Torres Irrigation and Manufacturing Code Survey Abstract Number 734, Frio County, Texas, being wholly located within the right-of-way of FM 1581 with varies out of called 17.452 acres tract, recorded in volume 311, page 398 of the deed of records of Frio County and being part of called 2.0 acres tract, recorded in volume 36, page 180 of the deed of records of Frio County, Texas.
I'll call on the Assistant City Manager.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, you have before you the final plat that's being introduced. This final plat was presented to the Planning and Zoning on June 3rd, and their recommendation is approval, subject to the comments and notes from our engineering firm, YPR. Mr. Rick Hatch is here if you'd like to address the council. But this is the final plat, subject to the comments that we received from YPR.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The plat was, the only thing that's, it was subject to is comments that we resubmitted to YPR, and the one that we were missing at the P&Z meeting was the plat approval letter from TxDOT, which we received last week. So we have all of the requirements of the engineer. They've been resubmitted to the engineer, and we're simply waiting for the engineer's positive response, and which we expect. And the plat that you're looking at is the revised plat with the TxDOT notes that were required to be added to the plat as well. If you look at the little strip that says track 2, that's part of the seller's property that is coming to us, but it's already in the right of way. So it's going to be, it is dedicated by this plat to the public as part of as the right of way. So the only one, the lot that will be developed is the track 1 lot, which is 3.6 acres. We have our building permit approved already. Our civil plans are in to the YPR has those as well, and we're waiting for that. And as soon as we receive those, we'll close on the purchase and start construction. So.
Thank you. Any questions, council? There's no further questions. I'll ask for a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Trevino, second by R. Garza. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, motion passes. Moving on to 9B.
Discuss, consider, and act on ordinance number 2024-0601 for the land use variance / special conditions permit for Miguel Angel Sanchez Cabrera and Jessica Ramirez, 513 East Rio Grande, to allow a 26.8 by 60 foot Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation modular home on property located at 513 East Rio Grande. The property's legal description being lot 8, block 37 of the city of Pearsall, parcel ID number 4611.
Movement to Assistant Manager.
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, you have before you a variance request. The minimum setbacks for the sides is 15, and the applicant is asking for a 13-foot variance. The difference is 2 feet. Now, I did, if you notice that I specified that this is not a manufactured home, we were very concerned that when we put this in the newspaper, because we're required to publish for 15 days the variance request, that we, and also we were very diligent that the applicant provide us with proof, and we also researched that this was actually a modular home. And so they provided us with the TDLR, the Texas Department of Licensing Regulation requirements, to show proof that it is a modular home. And I believe I provided a copy of the site plan, and there's a copy of a picture of what the modular home looks like. That's not the one that's gonna go on the site, but it's similar to that. You notice it is an engineered foundation. It's gonna go on a permanent foundation. This will be put on the tax roll as a residential home, not a manufactured home.
Did this go to P&Z?
Yes, sir, I'm sorry. P and Z is recommending it went, June third. P and Z, you have the report from P and Z here, that, my report with the recommendation. There were 3, negative letters. We sent out 11 within the 200-foot radius. I did provide those. We are required to provide you with those negative letters. However, the one property owner that we spoke to that came in, we sat down, visited with them, they were also under the impression that it was a mobile home or manufactured home. We visited with them. Most of them they were looking at it as a manufactured home and that it would, affect their property values. But again, we anticipated that, and so we, were diligent to make sure that we had everything, in this packet to show,
P&Z's recommendation was,
to approve.
with that being said, do I have any questions, council?
Motion.
I have a motion from Mr. Councilman
Second.
Trevino, second by, Councilwoman Montes. May I have a vote, all those in favor say aye. Unanimous, motion passes. If we could move on to item 9C.
9C, discuss and consider an act on preliminary replat for John Martin, 304 West Rio Grande, establishing Lot 1A, Block Q, of the town site of Pearsall, Rio County, Texas. The property's legal description being lots 1 and 2, Block Q of the town site of Pearsall, described in document number 0150332 of the Frio County Official Public Records, Frio County, Texas.
Assistant Manager, please.
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, you have before you a preliminary replat. If you recall, Mr. John Martin, this is a replat combining 2 lots into one. This P and Z and council back around January approved this mobile home. They got their application prior to the new ordinance going into effect. Part of the requirements, council expressed that it is a double wide manufactured home that was gonna go across 2 lots, so we needed to reconfigure those lots and reconfigure them into 1 lot. And they are in the process. This is your preliminary replat. P and Z met on June 3rd. They are recommending approval of the preliminary replat.
With that being said, do I have any further questions?
Motion.
I got a motion from, Councilman
Second.
Trevino, second by A. Garza. All those in favor, please say aye. Unanimous, motion passes. Moving on to ID.
Okay.
Sonia
Oh.
Gonzalez.
For the record, Councilwoman, Sonia Hernandez, I believe at 6:54. Has been on?
She's been on.
Okay. And moving on to item 9B.
9D, discuss and consider ordinance number 2024-0602 for the installation of traffic control devices on Marco Drive at the intersections of North Pecan and Paseo de Tyner, in addition to crosswalks.
This year, I believe, is Public Works Director Hector Danda. Can you please take your podium?
Good evening, Council, Mayor. In your possession, starting on page 191,
It's 85. Yeah, 185.
185.
mine's,
Yeah, 185.
Yours
Okay,
is
what
updated for me.
Oh,
His-
you'll be updated.
okay, so, which one is it, 191?
185.
185 for them, but you're good.
Okay.
It's right
so-
up there.
Got it. Okay, so, on 185, you have verbiage and rendering of what we are proposing to do to the intersection of the Marble Drive and North Pecan and Marble Drive and Paseo de Tyner. Now, please note that what we have in place is currently dated and needs upgrading. In addition, our ultimate goal is to convert this from a 2-way traffic to a 4-way traffic setting for safety purposes, pedestrian walk, crossing safety purposes. I did provide some renderings. I don't know if y'all had a chance to look them over, but
It's on page 190 of your packet. These are the photos or the renderings of what Hector provided.
There might be a little confusion. If you have any questions, it could be a little confusing. If you have any questions,
This was a request, by the way, this was a request by the school district just so, I know they had concerns about this area, this intersection. I think, one of the school board members is here to discuss, we can, just discuss something, if you have any questions regarding this. This was a request that we received from the school district. We met with them 2 weeks ago, to discuss this. So, anyway, school board member Orlando is here.
Good evening, City Manager, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, Manu Calendar. Right here, you got actually, what our concern is the safety of our students, not just them, but also the traffic flow between, on Margaret Drive, between Pecan Street, which is right where Mr. Laman used to live, and then the other corner over there where Sheriff Morris lives, which is Paseo de Tyner, I believe the name of it is. You know, there's a lot of traffic. We have a lot of pedestrian walk, you know, through there, which is football players, athletes during the track season and during school days, you know. I mean, those roads are being utilized 10 months out of the year, you know. Sometimes during the summer, those 2 months, June, July, August, you know, 2.5 months. So we know that as the years go by, traffic flow has been increasing, and not necessarily just downtown or in interstates, also in the residential areas. And we have a lot of traffic flow. Our request is for the city to, you know, to take a look at this and try to put four-way stops on those 2 corners on Margaret Drive. And there's 2 layouts. One of them is just regular stop signs. But the second layout, I would say I would like for y'all to consider that one, you know, because those will have flashing red lights, you know. It would mean you know, a demanding stop on there, you know, put a real focus on it. So this is not necessarily because of the school district. I mean, it's been like you said, feedback earlier from the community. You know, there's been a lot of concerns. You know, there's been some accidents throughout the years there, and just last football season there was a pedestrian vehicle accident on Margaret Drive, right there by Paseo de Tyner. So we're focusing, as a school district, we're focusing on with the city of Pearsall, with the city manager, do diligent work, you know, trying to focus on safety on, you know, throughout the community, county as well, you know. So we're trying to do what y'all are there for. You know, we're trying to better this community, benefit our youth, you know, the future of our future. So, you know, just consider the layout number 2, you know, at least consider one of them and approve it, you know. And we're looking and hoping that this will be passed and get the project get done before the beginning of the school year. So,
Mr. Gazara,
yes, ma'am.
would this school district be willing to go in camps, like you guys do one and then, you know, we can consider doing one?
Well, I mean, it's like y'all said before, you know, like, why do we want to go into, you know, dipping each other and the budgets and all that kind of stuff, you know? I do appreciate it, and I haven't really sat down with the board, and you know, the superintendent, myself, and Mari Benavides, another board member, we sat down with the city, and I believe the police chief as well, and other city personnel and school personnel. You know, for $3,000, $153 for each location, you know, I don't think it's worth. You know, that's very minimal for a cost of life. You know,
Fred,
So.
I have a question, because the last time we asked you about this, are the speed bumps gonna stay or they're gonna have to go?
Those are Margot, the ones that.
On Margot,
yeah,
all
those
the way
are-
down, no, because I remember asking.
They're built in.
We've had questions of people, and happens more often than not. We've had folks want them installed, and then we also have had them where some people hate them and want us to take them off. So at some point, we have to make the point that whatever stays there, stays there. I mean, again, part of that, and so we're not recommending moving any humps.
And my understanding in regarding to public signs, I mean, this city's responsibility.
Right.
You know, it's not the school's responsibility.
Right.
You know, so
Now,
I mean,
is
that
this-
includes, you know, like we try to work with TxDOT, and you know, it's TxDOT, you know, it's not able to. We're not able to. The city's not able to put anything up. So it's the city's responsibility, and we know stop signs have been going up in different locations, and you know, how would y'all refuse to put, stop signs where there's a heavier traffic than most of the places that the city has put stop signs
No,
at?
I'm not saying
Yeah.
that I would refuse to do this, I'm just saying, would it be, you know, a consideration for you guys to go on
Right.
top of this?
Well,
Because like whenever, I remember, when I was first sitting on council in 2017, the council was paying for the crossing guard. And I didn't know that, and I thought
Right.
that was the school's responsibility.
Right.
Yet the council has been, the
Right.
city's been paying it.
and that hasn't been happening, you know,
No,
the
it
crossing
hasn't
guard,
happened
right?
anymore.
But signage is responsibility to the city,
Yeah.
so,
But I'm just saying, you know, I love this idea, I especially like this one.
yeah,
This one is my favorite.
yeah.
So,
Now, is
Yeah.
this price tag,